Heel the Face podcast is on the air. We are joined, as always, with Brandon the Icebreaker Clemens. You can find him on Twitter at Icebreaker21. Myself, Jared Wicks. Those are our Twitter handles, including the Twitter handle for the show at Heel to the Face. They're very important because they interlude to our segment we're about to get to, and that is our social media smackdown, where we divulge in everything to do, mainly with Twitter, but social media in general, if we find it, sometimes Instagram. So without further ado, let's get to our bonus Twitter question of the week. We were off last week, so we have 2 Twitter questions of the week. We'll start with our Twitter question of the week from 2 weeks ago, and let's see if we can pull that one up right now. That one's from the previous week. Let's get to this one. Yes, and it's official. It was made official last week while we were off, that SmackDown will be on Friday nights on Fox. Now, WWE put out that it's going to be SmackDown Live is moving to Fridays on Fox, a.k.a. they kept the word live in there. So I'm kind of curious because they've never really done live on Fridays before in WWE history that I'm aware of. Pay-per-views are Sundays, shows are Mondays, you know, other stuff. Sometimes they tape on Tuesdays. They've done Saturday Live before on occasion, but they've never really done anything on Friday Live. Which is the reason is because the production trucks obviously work like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you know, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or, you know, in that span. So having, you know, a setup of a set on a Friday, then no sets, you know, all weekend, and then back on Monday, kind of.
It's weird.
It's weird. Yeah. But regardless, whether it's live or it's not live, that's the point of the question is, do you think viewership is going to drop because of the new night? Forget live, just because of the new night. I'm one of the 67% that said yes, Fridays are bad. What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think this is really bad. I mean, we've talked about it before. What do most people do on Friday nights? I know the kids, you know, it's exciting. They can get their popcorn.
Yeah, I know like 15-year-olds reading this are probably like, awesome, I can't wait.
This is probably where the 33% or adults that don't have no offense, but they may not have much of a social life. Maybe it's just they're a big wrestling fans, which is great. We hope you enjoy the show. But for me, on a Friday night, I'm not watching wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm not watching wrestling. I'm never against ever watching wrestling. I'm not going out of my, like, Tuesday nights are great for me because when I watch wrestling, other than pay-per-views, it's that I happen to watch it, meaning Mondays and Tuesdays, I have other things I put ahead of wrestling when it comes to going out. But good news for Monday and Tuesdays, those days I don't really have a lot of things to put ahead. Rarely do I have anything that really goes in front on Monday and Tuesday.
Fridays are a lot different.
I'm still going to put stuff in on Friday, but the problem is those Fridays are going to be a lot busier. There's going to be a lot more in place of wrestling at 8 o'clock.
Well, especially, I mean, you know, you travel a lot. You could be in, you know, Toronto on a Friday night. You're going to be walking around Toronto.
I could just be, you know, out to dinner, at the movies.
I'm just saying, I mean,
just anything on Friday. Most, you know,
I'm going, if, you know, during the summertime, when I can,
Fridays in the summer, I mean, forget it.
Yeah, Fridays in the summer, you know, if I'm not working the next day or I'm not working late on a Friday night, I'm probably going to go to camp and just get the hell out of Syracuse and just, you know, take it easy, you know.
That's what.
But Friday nights, Tuesday nights different. Like on a Tuesday night, like, you know, especially, you know, during the work week, I'm like, all right, what am I going to do on a Tuesday night? I'm not going to go crazy because I have to work on Wednesday morning.
You know, and I think a big thing has to do with this is wrestling fans, to be honest with you, have a lot of non-wrestling fan friends. I don't really socialize or plan a lot of parties or a lot of get-togethers on Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm watching TV like most people on Mondays and Tuesdays by myself or within the confines of the short group of people in my home that live in my home. And we can watch wrestling. But on Friday nights, let's say you're off at camp. You have a TV off at camp.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to put wrestling on because you're going to have probably like 10 people at camp or maybe like 5 or 6 people at camp.
Yeah, we
and 5 of 6 of those people don't like wrestling.
Exactly. And my thing is, if I'm at camp on a Friday night, I'm not going to be watching TV. Unless the weather's completely crap. I mean, if we have to be stuck in the trailer or whatever, that's different. But if the weather's really nice, there's, you know, 2 types of things I personally like to do. I like to get on the boat and do some night fishing myself, or we sit around the fire and, you know, we have a good time. We hang out and just, you know, listen to music and just sit around the fire. I'm not watching TV.
I mean, it's bad when you want the eyeballs. I mean, even kids Everybody just has stuff to do. Sundays works for wrestling because of the fact that come Sunday night, I'm 99% of the time home. I'm not out late on a Sunday night.
Generally, yes.
Sundays work for pay-per-views. Mondays work. I don't like them going late, but I like the fact is, I'm not normally looking for something to do on a Monday. Monday, I see Raw is on, and I'm like, okay, that's good enough. Friday, I'll see SmackDown is on, but I'll still be out searching for something better to do.
Yeah, and then, here's the beauty. Having DVR nowadays, you can just watch it later. So it's not like if especially in the summertime, if I'm not home or if the weather's, even if the weather's crappy, I might still go to maybe go to the movies or something, whatever I might be doing.
What's nice about Fridays is with the DVR, you can watch it much later.
Yeah.
Meaning you can watch it at midnight that night knowing you don't have to work the next day because it's Saturday. Tuesday, it's a little tough if you DVR it and then you maybe watch it the next day. You have to go through a whole day of interacting with other people who might watch wrestling and might say what happened. But Friday, you can pretty much tape it from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. And then whenever you want to watch it that weekend, you can find a way to watch it without it ever being spoiled.
The thing is, the beauty with DVR. So, I'll watch. It might not be on Friday night. It might be on Saturday morning if I'm not working in the morning. That's, to me, that's, Friday nights are just not a good night. I've always liked you have the Sunday night pay-per-views. Obviously, every once in a while you get the Saturday night, NXT, which I don't always watch on Saturday nights. I'll watch them sometimes on a Sunday before.
Because Saturday night's not a good night.
Yeah, Sunday night or Sunday afternoon before the pay-per-view. I might get my whole wrestling, dose all in one shot. I like that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think it's a good thing. You got pay-per-view, you fallout from the pay-per-view on Monday and Tuesday. I think it's perfect.
So
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
We're going to move on to our second Twitter question of the week, our more recent one from this week. And there are some strong rumors that have the fact that WWE is going to seek to sign by the end of this year the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes. So the question that I posed to the Twitterverse was, do you want to see WWE sign any or all of these guys? The answers were yes, but only a few, meaning like, yes, I want to see Omega, but not the Young Bucks, and Cody. Yes, I want to see Cody, but not Omega, the Young Bucks. However you want to put that together. I want to see all of them being signed or none. I think WWE will ruin them. I'm in the camp that I would like to see yes, but only a few. I think it's not good for the wrestling landscape if all these guys get signed at once in WWE. I want to see them kind of staggered in, and I like the friendly competition. I like this all in. I like Ring of Honor doing it good right now. I think if you completely remove these guys from Ring of Honor, from New Japan Wrestling, that's killing your competition right there.
Honestly, I wasn't in that camp. I was flipping back and forth.
Hopefully you're in the none. WWE will ruin them.
I flipped back and forth between yes, all of them, and none. WWE will ruin them. I did go with yes, all of them, because I'm selfish and I want WWE, because I'm not. If Ring of Honor's on and I happen to just flip to it, I'll sit there and watch it. And same thing with Japan. I might just, if I'm happen to be, watching some wrestling stuff and I see it. To me, I want to see all these guys on WWE program. That's me. I'm a WWE diehard. I respect the other businesses. I obviously I want to see them be successful and make money, because I think that's a good thing. But being a selfish WWE fan, I think it'd be fantastic for the business, honestly.
My problem is that I think that WWE, if they get them all in, they will. You have too many of them, and they'll ruin. We see it right now with the guys they call it from NXT. It just doesn't always translate. So, if you talk about Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and the Young Bucks, bringing them to WWE all at once, I think it would ruin. I think you need to bring in one or a few at a time.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
All of them at once is...
What's the... I know you said yes, but only a few. You're in the minority on this one. So if you had to choose out of that group there, who are you bringing in? Who are you leaving out?
I would bring in the Young Bucks.
Really? You wouldn't bring in Omega if Omega said, yeah, I'm ready? You wouldn't bring him in over the Young Bucks? If I had to choose between Young Bucks and Omega, I'm taking Omega. Out of the whole group, to me, it ranks. Maybe maybe you and I are definitely probably gonna disagree on this, but for me, if I'm listing them 1, 2, and 3, Omega is number 1. If I had the choice of signing one of 3, Omega is number 1, Cody's number 2, and the Young Bucks are 3. The Young Bucks are great, but the tag team division is already it is pretty loaded. The whole roster is loaded, but right now I think the tag team division's in pretty good hands. I mean, the Young Bucks would add a great, dynamic, but I think that the WWE needs more star power right now. I think we need guys like Omega and Cody Rhodes.
And I say the Young Bucks, with a grain of salt. I don't know exactly which ones. I mean, they're all great. Which ones I would sign. I just feel
if you're Vince, what would you do?
Well, I mean, if you're Vince, you're going to take them all and could care less how WWE treats them because you have property of all of them. They're going to sell, then you don't have competition. Which competition came back for like a minute, and then you killed it again.
So how would you rank it then? It sounds like Young Bucks are 1.
I'm not saying Young Bucks are 1. I'm not ranking the Young Bucks as 1. I personally would like to see the Young Bucks in because I think Omega and Cody might be a little bit higher than the Young Bucks, and I want to see them kind of still keep their potential in having some 5-star matches.
So Young Bucks NXT, or do you shoot them right up to the main roster? What do you do?
I might bring them to NXT. That I didn't think about it, but I think I might throw them in NXT.
I would too. Because that
ruins them slower. Well, not develop
the WWE. Because you know how Vince is. Vince wants the WWE. There's only been a few superstars that have just came right in. Samoa Joe has been in the business for how many years, and it took him way too long to get up. AJ was one of the few where he just debuted right on the main roster.
Well, if you want these guys to develop the WWE way, then I'm going to say that I don't want any of them because I don't want any of them to be that. That's the problem. We will ruin them.
I don't think it ruins them because there's been some big names that have come from Ring of Honor and they've been fine. Samoa Joe was fine. I mean, yes, it took too long for him to get from NXT to the main roster, but it didn't ruin him.
No, I just don't want to see them all at once because I like the idea. Now, you say you don't watch a lot of Ring of Honor, but it's growing, and I want to see it continue to grow. I don't want to see it be what Remember, Impact Wrestling was growing years ago. It's fun because Slammiversary 2018 is coming up for Impact Wrestling on July the 22nd, and they're hyping it up.
Who's watching that?
I don't know.
I'm not watching it.
I was thinking about going to it, but I think on July 22nd I'll be a little busy. It's in Toronto. But they've been showing highlights of old Impact Wrestling, and I'm not saying I've ever been a huge Impact Wrestling fan. I'm not saying that I am now. But they were showing a lot of highlights on their Twitter of some Slammiversary memories, and it's hard to think about how high they really were. How many people they were actually getting. At the time, we were joking because compared to the WWE, it was nothing. But now, compared to Impact Now, it was something. Meaning, I went to Bound for Glory last year. There was probably 1,000 maybe actual people there. And I'm looking at a Slammiversary highlight from like 2008 in an actual arena, with actual bleachers, seats, not just,
how many people were there?
Maybe like 6,000.
Wow.
Yeah, like an actual arena. Yeah, like we were joking because 6,000 for a pay-per-view was a joke then compared to WWE.
That's still good, though, compared to WWE because WWE gets, they sell arenas every week.
Well, Impact Wrestling was a joke then because it was, if 6,000 compared to WWE with no other competition was like, look, and trying to be WWE, we're like, they'll never be WWE. But now looking at Impact Wrestling compared to old Impact Wrestling, you're like, wow, Impact Wrestling was pretty decent when it had main events with Christian and Kurt Angle and Sting and Jeff Hardy and all these big names in one match. You forget oh yeah, Impact Wrestling, because it's bad now, but you look back on it and you forgot what you had. And that's kind of like Ring of Honor. I see it starting to grow and I see it starting to be something. It's not WWE and I'm not going to watch it every week, just like I didn't watch Impact Wrestling every week, but I don't want it to start to grow and then die immediately, and I think what's helping it grow.
I don't think it will. They have enough talent in Ring of Honor to. I mean, they have their niche. I mean, if the stars leave, they're going to bring in more stars. That's how.
Where
it's
are they
going to
get these stars though?
Well, look at this though. Daniel Bryan, Ring of Honor. Let's see, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens.
But those guys were on those guys, look back on it as guys who, Omega is a star now. Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are stars now. These aren't looking back on it hey, look, let's all go watch Seth Rollins. This is Seth Rollins as Seth Rollins now in Ring of Honor. Daniel Bryan now in Ring of Honor.
It's still fine.
They're going to get a lot of guys who are going to be up and comers and make names of themselves, but they're not going to have established names.
I still think they'll be fine because they're going to have their niche. Because they don't. The thing with Ring of Honor is, do they want the star power? Yeah, sure, of course. Who doesn't want the star power? But the fans that they get at those shows, they love wrestling. They love seeing great shows. I mean, I'm just saying that I think they'll be fine. Selfishly, I'm kind of hoping that Omega and those boys are, I hope all those fellas come to WWE. I'm a WWE guy. Speaking of other promotions, I don't know if you've read recently, There's talks between New Japan and WWE working some sort of deal out. Did you see that?
I did not see that. I saw that WWE looks like they're going to try to buy Evolve, but that could just be from the fact that Adam Cole is going to work some Evolve shows. And that's not even a big deal anyways, because Evolve sometimes does performance. The same with the Progress Wrestling out from England. They work sometimes in WWE, like WrestleMania weekend. But as I was saying, I don't think that's as big a deal. I think working with New Japan Wrestling would be cool. Working with them. I mean, they've done it before in the 90s. People forget WCW used to have like a joined super show, like New Japan Wrestling, WCW Supercard back in like the 90s, you know, Chris Jericho on it and some other, what's the Tiger guy? Tiger Mask Ali thing. I think that's something.
Who, wait, say it again?
Tiger Mask, the one of the big stars from New Japan Wrestling in the 90s. Tiger Mask, Ali Singh. Some Tiger Mask. I remember.
Wait, what about, wasn't it like a Thunder Liger too?
Yeah, there you go. That's another one. I was
gonna say Thunder Liger's. I'm just looking it up. I'm looking at some stuff here. Okay, so here's the deal. And I was reading. This is a rumor, obviously. It says Triple H is open to working with New Japan Wrestling. So I mean, and that was a couple weeks ago. That was reported by Sportskeeda, which they've broken some good stuff, good stories in the wrestling world, you know, for a while now. So do we see it happening? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Well, I mean, why not? I mean, what's it going to hurt? It helps both brands out, doesn't it?
Don't say that stuff, Vince McMahon. What's it going to hurt?
He might you know what? Japan had, New Japan Wrestling has a great following. So, I mean, maybe that's the way to broker some deals on the side. I don't know. I mean, do I see it happening?
To me, if all that is very strange if I see all of them signing. But at the same time, maybe from their aspect, that might be their bartering tool. They know their worth, and they might say, "Listen, you sign us all, or you sign none of us."
Well, that
might be their tool.
Well, that's what happened with AJ Styles. I mean, he literally said to WWE, "I'm coming, but so are Gallows and Anderson. If you don't take us as a package."
And AJ Styles doesn't have nearly the weight that these guys currently have right now, like Omega and Cody.
Well, I think AJ still had plenty of weight because he was one of the hottest names in the market. So I mean, if WWE, which obviously they did, wanted AJ bad enough, he's like, no, you're gonna bring my boys with me. And I think they even said that on the ride along. I think it was one of the shows on the network. I think AJ was a big proponent of saying, no, I'll come, but you got to bring my two boys with me because these guys are good. You guys aren't looking at them. Bring them in, and it worked out because all three of them are on the main roster, and I think they're all doing. I mean, obviously AJ's doing fantastic. But Gallows and Anderson, I think they're doing fine. I think it showed WWE, okay, these guys are pretty good performers. I mean, they've been in some pretty good matches.
Well, we still got 6 months left of 2018, so we'll see where things go. We're going to start with Brandon. What is your tweet of the week? It is time for our Twitter tweets of the week. We're going to start with you. What is your tweet of the week? I say this to you just in case you're going to steal my tweet of the week.
No, I think I already know what your tweet of the week is. My tweet of the week, it involves Raw from this past week. And this goes out to at cat_woman13, AB normal. Well, it looks like a tiger emoji, maybe a cat emoji. I'm not good with the emoji game. So she puts out a tweet. Never had there been more appropriate time for the holy shit chance. When they did the porta potty incident, which we touched on it earlier, I was like, that is so true because it's a shitty situation, pun intended, completely. So when I saw that tweet, I was like, I have to throw it in there. And I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I think this was on SportsCenter, so I'll go ahead.
So my tweet of the week, you found it on SportsCenter. You found it on, I was just looking at Jay and Dan tweeted this out on their Jay and Dan show on TSN SportsCenter. Everybody's been breaking the internet with this. Empire State Wrestling. I've heard of this promotion. They're out of Buffalo, New York, the Buffalo Niagara region. They have a total of 3,600 followers on Twitter, yet this was liked 8,000 times from just a SportsCenter tweet alone. The one that they sent out was only liked about 1,800 times, but probably still liked by more than any tweet they've probably ever sent out.
Yes.
It was a highlight from a match probably this past weekend, I would say. That's why I just got out there. Anthony Gaines versus Ace Romero. Neither of these guys are verified. And in the world of professional wrestling, it's not that hard to get verified. That shows you how kind of underground these guys are. This isn't a Kenny Omega match. But Ace Romero, quite a big guy. in the middle of a match, flung Anthony Gaines out of the ring. He went about 14 feet. If you haven't seen this yet, well, I don't know how you haven't seen it yet, but it made it. So whether the tweet of the week is from SportsCenter or from the ESW Empire State Wrestling site itself,
I think you should play it. I just want to see it again.
But now the audio definitely.
Both men go to the corner, and the pound to the outside!
That's awesome.
Sends him over the top to the outside!
Now, my thing is, I feel bad for the announcer right there, because if he would have known how viral this would have been, he could have maybe, readied his voice to make a little better of a call on this. I think his call is very, Bush League, independent-y, kind of hokey, if you will. Not something Michael Cole or Corey Graves, very high, screaming like you can't understand. Oh my God, like a Joey Styles kind of call.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So I feel that if he would have known that this was going to be viral, he might have tried to more Bob Costas it, get himself some more gimmicks in the world of professional wrestling. But hey, after it went viral, I wonder how much money Ace Romero, he's returning to Empire State Wrestling for their next show on August the 25th. I wonder how much money they had to give him this time around. I wonder if he called up ESW the next day and was like, hey, you want me back? I'm going to need more than my $50 from last time.
Yeah, you're going to have to give me a substantial raise.
Yeah.
So props to Empire State Wrestling. I know a few people involved with that. Actually, one of the, I don't think he was the camera guy in this, but a guy I went to school with, he's a camera guy for Empire State Wrestling. I don't think he was the camera guy for this. That would have been cool. But I wish we could get his perspective on that. He also works for Excite too.
Okay, then probably. What is his name?
Zach.
I don't know if I know who that is. I know one of the camera guys for Excite used to be 2CW. He's
a guy I went to OCC with. Good guy, big wrestling fan. We've had conversations before, brief conversations about wrestling, but he's a big fan, and he's a camera guy. I don't know how much he gets paid. Probably like $50 a show, I'm thinking.
Yeah, if anything,
if that,
if
so,
anything.
I'll have to ask him.
Mostly it's just for the love of the game, as they like to say.
Yeah,
it was very interesting. It's kind of funny that none of the videos actually show where he ended up. He looks like he landed in the crowd.
I wish we could get a video of that.
I
think there was one of those GIFs where somebody was in the crowd, like and it came, like the guy came at him. I don't know how far he was, but he got launched. That was cool. I just got to say, props to them. I mean that kind of reinforces why you should go check these shows out, because you never know what's going to happen at these shows.
And you truly never know. This guy Anthony Gaines from Enton City, I think it's just a made up thing. I think he's from Buffalo.
Probably
13,000 likes on the tweet. He has a total of 1,000 followers, and most of his other tweets get an average of 20 likes. Some, as this one, has 2 likes. So 13,000 likes on that.
Good for him.
A much higher mark than previous tweets before, and that shows you the power of social media, and that will put a close on our social media Smackdown of the week. For Brandon the Iceberg Clements, myself, Jared Wicks, you can find us on Twitter at those handles, as well as the program at Heel to the Face.